All right. I wanted to go into this because people, some brothers and sisters are asking questions based on the 7 seals. All right. So I want to give some clarity with the 7 seals. Also, we're going to bring forth some understanding according to the chariots, which is sometimes what they call UFOs. Now you have righteous chariots, chariots of the Most High, and you have the majority of chariots you see out, especially in these big cities. When you see those orbs going around, they are Satan's chariots. A lot of these chariots or these orbs, or what you would call UFOs, are vehicles of Satan in a lot of these big cities. All right? So, the nearer we get to the end, the more you'll see. All right? But I wanted to go into the 7 seals to some degree. All right? Some people believe that with the 7 seals, that, okay, they're saying, well, this got to happen. That's the first seal. And then this happened. That's the second seal. And then when this happened, so people ask them, well, what seal are we in? No. Don't get confused here. All right? Satan has set up religion to make you believe that something is going to happen. That things are afar off, so that you don't recognize the time you're in and deal with the time you're in. There is no such thing as us being in a first seal or a second seal or a third seal or a fourth seal or a sixth seal or a seventh seal. It's not like a time period, okay, this day the Most High is going to open up a seal. It's not that way. When Christ was taken to the heavenly tabernacle, when he was taken to the Father after his crucifixion, after he took full power of hell and was in the earth for 3 days, was resurrected, appeared, and he was taken into the heavens. In the heavens, at that time, Christ let loose all the seals. He unloosed all the seals. Now, in order for you to understand what the seals are, for years the prophets and the elders of old time in the Old Testament, they were asking the Most High, when will we receive the promises of Abraham? How long will it be? How long should we suffer under the hands of these Gentile governments? And there were seals in heaven that would lead to us being released. But only the Son, Christ, could release those seals. Once those seals were released, then through time, with prophecies going forward, it would make it where our captivity would come off of us. And eventually, we would come back to the Most High and get the kingdom. But Christ was the only one who could loose those seals. That happened when Christ went to the heavenly realm. He's not up there loosening seals now. They're loose. Christ is just waiting for his Father to say, okay, it's time. So let me give you some scriptures to prove that. Okay? In the academy, we went through it not too long ago in the last one, but it will be in this one also, where we break down Daniel's seals of the 7th chapter. All those kingdoms. When you look at the Assyrian, the Babylonian Assyrian captivity, the Persian Medo captivity, the Greek captivity, then Rome, which is worse than them all, which we are in the remnant of the Roman Empire, because America, which is the new superpower, came out of the 3 kings that were a part of the 10 horns of Rome. America came out of France, Spain, and Great Britain. So America is that extension of Rome. So you got 4 separate kingdoms that the Most High was showing Daniel that needed their time to rule in the earth before he would give the children of Israel the promises of Abraham. Let's go to Daniel 7 and 13.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 13.
And I'm going straight to the 13th verse because, you know, this is after the Most High showed Daniel all 4 kingdoms. All right? Then he's given Daniel a future prophecy that would lead to God's people being released. See, we're in captivity, brothers and sisters. We're slaves. Okay? Now, of course, this is high-tech slavery, but nonetheless, it's slaves. What is a slave? A slave is a person who don't have their own land, their own government. They don't have a right to their own laws, to execute the laws of their God without intrusion. That's a slave. Okay? Not only that, the Most High made the earth to serve us. It doesn't cost anything for fruits to grow, for plants to grow, for animals to procreate for food. We're supposed to live off the earth for free. We were made in the image of the Most High, and He made all the things in the earth to minister unto His creation. We went into that in Genesis a couple of weeks ago, in the academy there. So, if you have to pay for what the Most High have put on this earth to minister to you, you are a slave. The Rothschilds, let me tell you, all the rich people, they don't pay for nothing. They don't spend a dime. They're free. Let's go to Daniel 7 and 13. Let's read it.
Daniel chapter 7 verse 13.
Read it.
I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven.
Came with the clouds of heaven. This is what Daniel is seeing. Go ahead.
And came to the Ancient of Days.
And came to the Ancient of Days. That's Christ being brought into the heavenly tabernacle to His Father after the crucifixion. That's what Daniel is seeing here. We're going to prove that. Read.
And they brought Him near before Him. And there was given Him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve Him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and His kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
So when Christ is set up, His kingdom shall not be destroyed. But the beginning of it was Him actually going to the cross, getting full power of death and hell, binding Satan within this earth, and then being taken to the heavenly tabernacle to shed His blood, so that we can one day be free as a people. Now let's prove that. It says, He was brought, hold on, read that Daniel 7 and 13 and get Psalms 104 and 3. Daniel 7 and 13, Psalms 104 and 3.
Daniel chapter 7 verse 13.
Go ahead.
I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven.
Came with the clouds of heaven. What are the clouds of heaven? Let's get Psalms 104 and 3.
Psalms chapter 104 verse 3.
Go ahead.
Who layeth the beams of His chambers in the waters.
Who layeth the beams of His chambers in the waters, which means you can see the beams off of the waters. Read.
Who maketh the clouds His chariots.
That maketh His what?
Who maketh the clouds His chariots.
Who maketh the clouds His chariots. Read.
Who walketh upon the wings of the wind.
So these are vehicles. Chariots carry something. And anything that walks on the wings of the wind flies. So if you've seen this with your own eyes, you would say, well, okay, that is a UFO. That is an unidentified flying object. So Christ was brought before the Father with the clouds of heavens, with these so-called chariots, according to the Bible. Let's go to Daniel 7 and 13 again.
Daniel chapter 7 verse 13.
Read.
I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven.
Came with the clouds of heaven.
And came to the Ancient of Days.
He came to the Ancient of Days. Now we know that it's the Most High who was before days. In the beginning, the Most High created the heaven and the earth. Christ was the first of all creation. So Christ was created on the beginning of the first day. He's the beginning and He will end it. So that's Christ being brought forth to the Ancient of Days. Read.
And they brought
hold up. One other thing I want to point out here. If Christ is being brought to the Ancient of Days, that means the Son of Man, which is Christ, is different from the Ancient of Days. The Ancient of Days is the Father. He was there before there were days. Christ came out of Him. So Christ is a product of creation. Christ being brought to the Ancient of Days. Read.
and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him.
Go ahead.
Verse 14. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
So my question is, listen to this clearly, brothers and sisters. Do you think the governments of this world want Christ to return? So where's the Queen of England's throne once Christ comes? Where's the dominion of the American government or the other world governments once Christ returns? All right? Think about it. NASA is a space program linked with the Pentagon. So what do they have around the earth? Weaponry. They make you think these are space weapons that have been set up around the earth. So that if someone launches a nuclear missile, they can knock the nuclear missile out. No. They have weaponry pointed outward. It's in the scriptures that Lucifer promised that he would go into space and fight the Most High. They are preparing for Christ's return. Now listen to this clearly. This is blowing the trumpet right here. 2011, Barack Obama suspended the NASA program in America to let you know they've accomplished what they needed to accomplish with their weaponry out in space. It won't be long. It won't be long. So they know Christ is coming back. I'm going to show you this. And they know that he's coming back with chariots, and they know he's coming back with vehicles. It says that the chariots, or the clouds of heaven, took the Son of Man to the Ancient of Days in the book of Daniel. Let's go to Acts 1 and 9.
Acts chapter 1 verse 9.
Read it.
And when he had spoken these things while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight.
Hold up, read that again. This is the disciples. Read it.
And when he had spoken these things,
and when Christ spoke in the last things that he spoke to the disciples,
while they beheld,
while they looked at him,
he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight.
And a cloud received him out of their sight. Don't forget, these clouds walk on the wings of the wind. It's not the clouds you're looking at when you look outside. These are talking about chariots or vehicles. Read.
Verse 10. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel.
They were angels. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven?
Why are you looking up into heaven? Go ahead.
This same Yeshua which is taken up from you into heaven shall so come in like manner.
So the same way you see him going up, he's coming back. Now notice that when you go into Daniel, right after that, the angels take Christ to the Ancient of Days. That's what Daniel was seeing. He was seeing the continuation of what we read in Acts 1 and 9. So he says, why you stand there marvel? The same way he left, he's coming back the same way. He's coming with clouds. So the governments of this earth, these satanic governments, have set up. They have sold their souls to Satan to fight against our Father, to fight against the Son who will send the Son who was sent by our Father, Ahaya, the I am that I am. They're going to fight it. There will be a war in heaven, brothers and sisters, again. Armageddon. This is what's going on, brothers and sisters. And Christ is coming to free us. These governments are trying to exterminate us before Christ returns. That's what's going on in this earth. Right? Now let's go to Hebrews 9 and 11.